Hi, good evening. In this video, I'm actually going to talk about the Randles Sevcik equation. So if you're familiar with cyclic voltammetry, you'll know that people are not very interested, but they like to characterize their redox system, between, the redox system being the kind of redox active molecule. In my case tonight, it'll be ferricyanide, and my electrode, which will be a screen printed carbon electrode. They like to sort of characterize it by showing that their peak height in their cyclic voltammogram is proportional to the square root of scan rate. So the experiment we'll do this evening is I'll do a scan at at 50 millivolts, and I'll plot that. I'll do a scan at 100 millivolts and I'll plot that. I'll do a scan at 200 millivolts and I'll plot that. And I'll do a scan at 300 millivolts and I'll plot that. And what you'll see is that the peak height is not linearly proportional with the scan rate. It's actually proportional to the square root of the scan rate. Now this comes from fixed laws of diffusion that says if my peak height is proportional to a molecule that's in the liquid phase, then the peak height of it is proportional to the diffusion of that molecule, and therefore you have a signal that says peak current is proportional to the square root of the scan rate, and that's because it's a diffusional controlled process rather than something that's maybe absorbed onto the surface. So the equation that kind of characterizes this is the Randles Sevcik equation. You'll find plenty of examples of this on the internet, where the current is shown to be proportional to the square root of scan rate. The Randles Sevcik equation can be simplified at room temperature. You could simplify it down to current is proportional to 2.69 times 10 to the 5, number of electrons to the power of 3/2, area of the electrode. My electrode is about 1 to 2 millimeters. Diffusion coefficient, the concentration of the species, which in my case is 5 millimolar, and the square root of scan rate. So you'll find plenty of videos talking about this, but actually what I want to do is something different this evening. I actually want to derive or gather this data in real time and show you that current in fact is proportional to the square root of scan rate for my ideal system, which is going to be the cyclic voltammogram of a 5 millimolar ferricyanide solution. So here comes the demo. So let me just go to here. Something that's not talked about too much online is actually, I'm going to use a carbon circular electrode called a 501 from ZP. Not talked about too much online, but I'll talk about it now. That I'm actually going to clean this electrode with a pH 2 sulfuric acid solution. Nothing special or fancy. It's not really talked about that much, but you'll always polish a screen printed you'll always polish a glassy carbon electrode. You'll always polish gold electrodes. People make, but actually you never hear anyone really talking about activating or polishing screen printed electrodes. Well, in my particular case this evening, I will polish it, or rather clean it. So I put some pH 2 sulfuric acid on there. I'm going to scan from minus 1000 millivolts up to 1000 millivolts at a scan rate of 100 millivolts per second. I'll just do one cycle. I'll set the current range to 100 microamps and I'll hit go, and off we go. I'm not that bothered by this data. This is just a cleaning step. But I kind of realized that, of course, when you pick up a screen printed electrode, you've really no idea of the history of that screen printed electrode. So it's probably not a bad idea to actually have a cleaning routine / protocol in place. And that's what I'm just going to do now. So it'll be finished in a few more seconds. I might just have a quick look at that data, but then I'm going to change the solution and put some ferricyanide on there. So I'll get ready to do that. I'll just grab some ferricyanide now. And I realize what I want to do is I actually want to get that sulfuric acid off that. So I'll just get that off. Now I just wish I brought a little bit of a tissue with me just to kind of mop that up, but no sweat. In a minute I will put the ferricyanide on, but something that the app says, it says upload complete. So I just want to show you what upload complete actually means. So if I go to screen here and I just do a quick refresh, all the data has been jumped or sent up to the cloud. So let's have a quick look and see if I can find my experiment, or my cleaning step, let's say. So I'm just refreshing. Yeah, so I can see my cleaning here. I'm not that bothered by this. This is just a bit of sulfuric acid. There was no real redox molecule in there. So it's just me sort of cleaning the electrode up. Now I'll come back and actually do the experiment itself. So let me just go to here. Now I want to save myself a lot of effort. So in fact, I have actually prepared a QR code for this. This is one of the beauties of this particular style of potentiostat. I've scanned this QR code. So what this now does is it now programs me to do those experiments automatically. But I want to give it a name, so I want to be able to find this. So I'll put it testing 5 millimolar ferry. All right, that's done. Demo done. Continue. Whoops, I need to put a solution on here. So I'm just going to do that quickly. All right, 50 microliters of potassium ferricyanide on there. Good. Start measurement. And off it goes. So it will do, I think, 4 experiments. One at 50 millivolts, that'll be the slowest one. That's probably the oxidation now of ferrocyanide to ferricyanide, and then it will do the reduction of that, what was oxidized there, back into, so that will take ferry back to ferrocyanide. So that'll be like experiment number 1, and then it'll do experiment number 2, which is the same experiment then, but just at a faster scan rate, probably at like 100 millivolts. There we go, we get the new peak. I hope, no, that's fine. And there we are. See, I get quite nice peaks here, so I suspect that cleaning step was actually quite a good idea. So this is just current versus time. Now it'll do experiment number 3. And the one thing that's valuable in either teaching or in research or in characterization is just not wasting time. So this is a kind of very efficient way of doing it. And also the biggest thing that goes on in industry is people then analyzing data, but you're going to see that all that data just gets analyzed for me. So it says upload complete. Okay, that's done. Share the screen with you here. Let's just do a quick refresh here. Right, testing 5 millimolar ferricyanide. Cool. Let's have a quick look. And all right, so now it's not uploading. It's analyzing the data. So there we are. I've got my peaks here. I'm just going to go slightly into. I'll just hide myself so you can actually see what's going on. I'm just going to edit it quickly. It's a little stretched out because that axis is a little long, so I'll just make it look a bit more sort of. Oh, look at that, beautiful. Yeah, so there we are. We've got peak, proportional, and then we've actually plotted it out. And I mean, wow, it really fits that equation. Sort of, it really fits the Randles Sevcik style equation that kind of says that the peak height is proportional to the square root of scan rate, and it's done all the analysis for me. I mean, it's not only done the analysis, it's also looked at the peak position versus scan rate as well. So it's a pretty powerful piece of technology. So I think in summary, if I can just do that, if you have any questions regarding the Randles Sevcik equation, it's a pretty robust characterization. I mean, it stands up. I wouldn't want to say how old that sort of analysis is, but quite some. As I say, it comes originally from the fixed laws of diffusion, now applied into electrochemistry. As you saw, it's not hard to do that experiment and very fast to do it on an instrument like this. But if you do have any questions about the Randles Sevcik equation or other things that you might want us to cover, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. Okay, thanks very much.